Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to For StarCraft 2 Strategy. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Zerg strategy. Now the Zerg player in the strategy replay is Arum, and our Terran opponent is Mako Plux. So we're going to go ahead and go straight into Arum Vision. Again, we are looking at a Zerg strategy today, but more specifically, we're looking at a fast expand Roach build into getting Speedlings and Banelings. Now, this fast expansion, as I've gone over before in prior Zerg videos, is really almost necessary for Zerg to stay competitive. If you try to play off one base, it becomes very difficult to be as aggressive and to get as many units out as you would really like to as Zerg, and that is precisely why so many Zerg players do choose to go for some fast expansion build. Now, the main problem being is that in going for fast expansions, that really leaves you vulnerable to early aggression. Now, especially nowadays versus Terran, where so many Terran players are going for that fast Reaper into a Marauder or just a regular bio build, that it becomes increasingly difficult, because obviously fast Reapers are going to do a heck of a number on your early expansion. So to help counteract this, what we're looking at doing is going for a very, very quick Roach Warren to counteract those Reapers and to kind of repel them, using Roaches and Queens as well as Zerglings to push away any early aggression that you see. And again, this is one of those situations where if you go for that fast expansion, of course you are vulnerable, but as long as you provide yourself with the necessary tools to defend early game against what your opponent is likely to put against you, then you should be okay in doing so. So taking a look here at the build order, we did start by dropping our fast expansion, that hatchery, at our natural expansion at 13 supply. We are then going to follow it up with that 13 spawning pool. Now you may be wondering, a lot of players see that 14 hatchery, 14 pool kind of build. Going a little bit quicker on this, again, because of that threat of early Reapers and how devastating it can be against a fast expansion as Zerg. So we do have our spawning pool that got dropped at 13 supply, and then as well at 13 supply we went ahead and we got our Extractor. I do want to make a quick little note before I mention anything else any further. I've still been getting a lot of questions about supply, what it is, what does it mean, and why do I keep saying do something at this supply and that supply. Upper right hand corner of your map, it shows your supply number. As you can see right now, we're at 15 out of 18. Now whenever you create a new unit, it uses up supply. So for example, a Zergling, let's see if I can get a larva here. A drone uses up 1 supply. You can see right next to that 50 minerals, there's the number of supply just to the right of that, and that's number 1. Or a roach, for example, uses up 2 supply. So whenever you create a new unit, it uses up supply. And so when I say drop something at that supply, that just gives you a general idea of what kind of timing you're looking at. Now, here's something that you're going to see very often versus Terran players when you are going for that fast expansion. If they do catch you with a scout, a likely response is that they're going to drop a bunker and then dump a Marine and then a Reaper into that bunker to try to kill your fast expansion. And again, this is why we're trying to get those Roaches out as quickly as possible to deal with stuff such as this. So we did go ahead and we dropped our Roach Warren at 16 supply. And as soon as that comes up, we're going to want to pump out some Roaches, because as of right now, we're just seeing this Marine inside of the bunker, but shortly we can expect to see a Reaper. And this is, unfortunately, this is without scouting information. Ideally, we would like to have gotten something in here to see a tech lab on this barracks, but we weren't able to, unfortunately, so we just kind of had to guess in getting that Roach Warren. But getting Roaches early versus Terran is going to be a pretty safe bet as it is, unless you get straight up Marauder rushed, but hopefully you'll be able to do a scout before that so you can see if that's coming, because Marauders will do pretty good against just a mass Roach army. But early on, what you're very likely to see versus Terran nowadays is a Reaper rush, and we did see that Reaper came in. In fact, there's a second Reaper right there. So getting those Roaches out as quickly as possible is going to allow us to fend off that attack. We'll be able to drop that bunker pretty quickly, and then obviously we can handle any Reapers we're going to see, because Reapers do pretty much 0 damage to Roaches. It's pretty ridiculous. All their shots just kind of clank right off their armor. So we're going to be pushing forward with our Roaches, in fact, and this is where we're going to get one of 2 things accomplished. First, we're going to get some scouting information. Secondly, we're going to see if there's anything else that's a little bit fancy going on. Now, we do have that Queen coming right now. I didn't mention the exact supply from that Queen for one reason, and that's because it's kind of really set off in this game because we made so many early Roaches to fend off that attack. Had we not seen a super early aggression, we would have built our Queen much earlier. We ended up building it around like 33 or something in this particular game. And again, I didn't mention that because you shouldn't plan every game on building a Queen at 33 supply. That's not a proper thing. And that just goes to show you, I'm happy to put the build orders up for you guys. I know that you like to see them, but don't rely on them heavily, because it has so much to do with what goes on in the game. And again, for example, in this particular game, we saw so much early aggression that we had to dump out a bunch of roaches, so everything we build after that's going to be like 30 plus supply, and that's not how you should normally do it if you aren't getting harassed. Now, and moving forward, we did get exactly what we needed. There was a Marauder shooting at our Roaches, so we knew that Marauders were coming. We also saw that this fast expansion was coming. Now, this means that we do have that time frame to be able to hit him before he masses up economy. And you may say, well, you have a fast expansion too, what about the time frame for him? Unfortunately, he kind of missed that window because we do already have it saturated, so we are getting the full benefit from it, and we're not set behind at this point. And that's just another thing. It's really about timing when it comes to getting someone who's going for an expansion and catching them off guard and unprepared. So what we're going to be looking at doing here, in this particular build, this particular unit composition, to counteract that Reaper into Marauder build, which is what we're seeing our opponent do here, is going to be Roaches, again, to fend off those early Reapers, and then Speedlings and Banelings. Speedlings are going to do very well versus a Marauder force that you're likely to see, and if he does happen to mix up some Marines in that, the Banelings are going to do well against that. But the Banelings aren't just for the possibility of Marines, they're also for breaking through any frontal defenses and getting your Roaches inside of their base and your Speedlings inside of their base. So yeah, it's going to be Roaches, Speedlings, and Banelings to counteract that Reaper into Bio build, whatever it may be, whether it's, again, straight up Marauder or Marine Marauder. So we're just going to be pumping out these Zerglings for the time being. We have a pretty sufficient force of Roaches. Once that Baneling's nest is finished completing, we're going to go ahead and move out to the front of his base. That's going to be a good time for us to attack. Again, the thing known as the timing push. Pushing out at a time where you have just gotten an upgrade or a new building for new units or something that's going to put you in an advantageous spot. So we're going to be moving out now that the Baneling's nest is completed. We move forward just to check out what's going on. We did see 2 bunkers here. Second one being built right now. First one is, of course, complete. So we're going to be morphing in those Banelings now. We're going to be using them to break through this wall so the Marauders just can't sit behind here and pick off our units. And then we're going to be moving in with those Speedlings and Roaches. And this is the kind of timing that I was talking about, catching them when they have just expanded and they aren't fully taking advantage of it. Because again, when we moved in not too long ago, we did see that the command center was here, wasn't even in the corner yet, so he obviously didn't have it saturated. Moving forward, again with those Banelings busting through that front wall, and then our units are just kind of able to waltz right in. Terran player does a good job in positioning here by putting them up on this ramp, so the Zerglings can't get a full surround. But unfortunately, again, we had that much faster expansion. We had the mineral advantage much quicker, and just the army size that we have compared to him is much, much better. Moving in those Speedlings, taking out his economy, and the Terran player does go ahead and call a good game. So again, guys, this has been a Zerg strategy. It was that Roach, Speedling, and Baneling build to counter that fast Reaper into a bio mix, whether, again, it be just Marauders or Marauders and Marauders and Marines. Man, that was really close. Almost messed up that entire cast. Alright, so anyways, going for that 13 hatchery, that really fast expansion at 13 supply. And again, I went over earlier what supply meant and what you should be looking for. I followed that up with a 13 spawning pool and then a 13 extractor. Now then, at 16 supply, we got that Roach Warren. Again, we're getting that Roach Warren as quickly as we can to fend off any early aggression. And in fact, in this particular game, we did see that fast bunker, and he filled it with a Marine and a couple of Reapers. So because we had those Roaches, we were able to fend it off. If we just had Speedlings, that probably wouldn't have worked so well. the Zerglings, rather. If we just had Zerglings, they would have just been obliterated by anything inside of that bunker. Especially when those Reapers started showing up, we wouldn't be able to whittle down that bunker fast enough compared to how fast we were losing our Zerglings. And then from that point, we of course did make our queen. You do want 2 queens, ideally at least, when you have two bases up, of course, because you need that for that spawn larva ability. Then we started researching that speed upgrade for our Zerglings, and then we went ahead and dropped a Baneling's nest. So again, it's that Roach, Speedling, and Baneling build. It's going to be a good, strong counter to your opponent going for that Reaper into Marauder. Now, again, it's seeing that fast expansion, that's when we decided to mass up and push out at that point. If you didn't see a fast expansion, you might just want to hold on a little bit longer, mass up a little bit more of an army, because again, playing off of one base, he's going to be dumping all of his resources into his army, and we might be outnumbered at that point. So at that point, it would just be about getting scouting information and then waiting until they do, in fact, go for that expansion to push out. So again, guys, this has been for StarCraft 2 Strategy. If you guys like our videos and you like what we're doing here, please do go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Keep watching and keep owning, guys. So it's really playing aggressively when going for fast expansion super early isn't really possible, but the good thing is that once you do have that fast expansion up and you start to saturate it and you get that economic advantage, that's when you can go ahead and play aggressively. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, stopping those Reapers from dancing around up and down these ledges just by sitting these Roaches right here. That's going to completely nullify